everybody. How you doing? This Ron Robert back in action. Started this morning with LaSalle, and now we're back tonight with Pilgrim, which is amazing. Division III state champs in the RIIL. After last year, they came in second and they wanted that revenge, and they got it. And what a great season that they had. Before we get going, we do have Coach Gregson, head coach Gregson, and we have assistant coach Blake Simpson here in the house to talk about the team and their boys tonight. But before we get going, let's go over some sponsors really quick. We would like to thank all of these sponsors for backing up the Fans Only Sports Network through the playoffs and the regular season here. Flair Lacrosse, because obviously we all know we did a bunch of girls lacrosse this season. Flair Lacrosse, you can go to flairlacrosse.com and check it out. For women, by women. It's a solidly women youth and travel organization here in Rhode Island. Blaze Lacrosse, the same thing. Go to blazelacrosse.com, and they have youth and travel elite lacrosse. Rhode Island Bulldogs Lacrosse, all travel all the time. Rhode Island Elite Bulldogs Lacrosse, bringing kids to the NCAAs every year. So you'll go to ribulldogs.com and check them out. Odyssey Group International. You go to odysseygi.com and check out their concussion protocol drug. It's groundbreaking. They're traded on the OTC at ODYY. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law, 696 Reservoir Ave, Cranston, Rhode Island, 401-728-7470. We'd like to thank Joe Lammy, a good friend of mine, for sponsoring the Fans Only Sports Network through this season. And then last but not least, RR Elite Recruits. This is our recruiting platform for all those Rhode Island kids and all those coaches that were like, we're Rhode Island, we don't get the looks, we don't get seen. Well, here it is, rreliterecruits.com. Go there, check it out, fill out your athlete submission form. 60,000 coaches, 3,000 schools in every NCAA sport. Okay? And we have all of those in our database, ready to help these kids be seen at the next level and let their play be heard. So, all right, now, boom, I'm back. And we are going to bring Alex Gregson and Blake Simpson into the house. And there they are. I wanted to make sure I positioned the head coach solo at the bottom here. You see? Right, like that right there. So he deserves it. You're a state champ, coach. You're a state champ.
Yeah, Ron, it's amazing. I mean, this is our third time going, and we finally got to win one. I'll tell you what, it feels way better to win them than to lose them. I've been on a high since Saturday afternoon.
Unbelievable. You guys deserve it. I mean, it's public school program, Division III lacrosse, not an easy division, but to be honest, we covered all of your home games and some of your away games too, and you guys never disappointed. You made it look easy throughout the season. You are going to say, oh, Ron, it wasn't easy. But I'm just letting you know, you made it look easy on our end. But, Coach, talk about, some of the, boys on your team and how they performed at the level that they did. Because, I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure if I guessed, you beat your opponents on an average of 10 goals at least.
Yeah, it had to be up there. I mean, we had a few shutouts. We had more than a few. I think we had, close to 4 or 5. And Blake and I talked about this, especially early in the season. We didn't know we were going to be this talented. We knew we had a couple of guys coming back from last year, and we lost our whole attack, right? So especially Peter Kay. I mean, he ended up breaking a whole bunch of records just one year playing. He transferred from Hedrick in his junior year, then lost that year to COVID, and then came out and just tore the net on fire. And we're going over the offseason thinking, okay, how do we even replace him? He was our leading goal scorer. He had close to 70 goals, Blake. I don't even remember, but he was up there. And we're thinking, okay, who are we going to put here? Maybe we'll get, Braxton Bragg obviously is one of our better players. Ethan Pizzullo. Maybe we'll put one of them at attack, but we're going to need another one for midfield because we're going to need to control the ball. And then we just had a bunch of guys who just showed up, and they worked their butts off in the offseason. Tyler Fuller is probably the one that comes to mind the most. He never even picked up a lacrosse stick until May of last year, early May last year. We had the late start. And he came out. He was a track guy. He was a basketball guy and an athlete. Obviously, the kid could run. He could hit. He could do all that stuff. But he'd never picked up a lacrosse stick before. And when he came out in March, he looked just as good as the guys that had been playing PAL since they were in third grade. I mean, he could throw, he could catch, he could run, he could cradle, he could shoot on the run. It was amazing, you know. Him, Ryan Barlow, was a workhorse last year as a freshman. Had tons of ground balls, just did all the dirty stuff, right? And he's scoring 3 or 4 goals a game, right? And just out of nowhere, our defense all worked in the offseason. A bunch of them played at Blaze and just got better, just got smarter IQ wise, and just keep how to keep guys out of the net, how to play angles, how to be a little more physical than we were last year. So they were just all over the place. There were guys that just showed up and out of nowhere, really, because we didn't think like I said before, we thought we were going to have maybe 2 really good players, but we didn't expect the guys to come out the way they did.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if anyone expected them to come out the way they did. Unbelievable performance by more than a handful, and Narragansett, kudos to them. They had a great season, but had to try to game plan for half of your team going into the finals. Blake, one guy that stood out to us, and we covered more than half of your games, right? And one guy that stood out to us was Braxton Bragg. Um, can you talk about this kid a little bit? Because I
Uh,
mean, what's the
for
future going to be like with this kid? I mean, what do you think? What's your thoughts on Braxton? Because he was
I'm
pretty crazy.
for a sophomore to do the things that he does, it's pretty like incredible. But that's just it's him and the work that him and his dad do all year round. Like the kid lives and breathes lacrosse. He plays soccer and he plays hockey, but if you talk to him, he loves lacrosse the most. He definitely he definitely has a stick in his hands all the time. And as much as people might say like he's just a lefty, but he showed this year after the performances he had last year as a freshman that he can go to his right now too, and he's got a pretty hard shot that way as well.
Well, people are saying that about him because I got to be honest. I thought he was too like he could go both ways. He could switch hands pretty easy. I mean, what is it? Is it something that he's developing right now?
He's definitely developed more since his freshman year with us, um, but yeah, that his shot is just unreal. Like it's something
Yeah.
that our goalie hates seeing it in practice, but I mean, it makes him and it makes our defense so much better just to go up against a kid like Braxton and other offensive guys like Ethan Pizzulo as well.
I mean, it's got to be, you know, um, pretty awesome to watch him shoot. And then I'll tell you, as someone, and we just talked about this right before we all jumped on. We were talking about we saw a lot of games this year. We covered D1, D2, D3, and D4, and there's a big difference on a consistent basis watching the Division One, watching the Division Two, and Division Three overall, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, some of the kids I saw on your team could play on those teams. That like the Bragg shot is just dirty. The thing is, it's dirty. It's dirty. Yeah, he nails it, man. Every time that kid wound up to rip one, we were all like this. Like everyone up in the booth, we were like, here it comes, here it comes. Or he would be outside on the crease there, and you guys would be, passing it around, trying to set it up to see if he'd get the lane. And when he had it, we were all like, because we knew this thing was a rocket. Coach Gregson, what about I'm going to drop a couple names here because I'd like to, get your opinion on these kids. But Pizzula was another one. The kid's a goal scoring machine. The kid's a machine.
He's amazing. I mean, if you want to look up a textbook lacrosse shot, just slow mo his shot. He's got perfect form. He comes through, he goes arms up, he comes through with the right hand, yanks that left hand back, and I mean the placement on some of his shots. He just knows where to go with the ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so many. I keep saying I don't even know if he knows what I'm talking about. But I say you're a shooter, right? Because I love shooting the ball. I warm up the goalies and like ripping corners and everything. And I'm just like, you just know where to put the ball. He just knows.
Yeah.
His form and his placement. All right, there's nobody else on the team. I know Braxton gets a lot of the credit,
Right.
but he just rips. He just rips.
Well,
corners,
that's why I
right?
wanted to bring him up. Because I do know Braxton gets credit, but there was a game early in the season, and I'm struggling to think of which game it was. And it was at home. It wasn't West. It was right after West. Might have been because you played Tollgate at home a little bit later. It's gonna kill me. Anyway, so it was.
Lincoln.
Say it again.
Might have been Lincoln.
Might have been Lincoln. Okay, Pizzulo hit a shot. Literally, he must have been parallel on the side of the goalpost. Like there was no angle. And he pinned it like inside the post. I was just like, and now, there's a lot, there's people that know lacrosse, there's people that don't know lacrosse, right? So, and I'm not saying that I know everything about lacrosse, but I've been lacrosse, and not everybody knows, not everyone will know things that they're looking at. I was just like floored when this kid hit the shot. I should have pulled up the clip, and because I know we were there. It was no angle. Like, how does a kid hit the shot like that? It was crazy. There was no, and I know he's probably hit more than shots like that than what I saw through the season.
That's what I'm saying. His placement was just always spot on. He always knew which corner to hit, what high, low, depending on how the goalie was set up. He can make those shots. He can just sneak it right in there, and that's why he's much more of a finesse shooter. And again, like that doesn't make the highlight reel because it's not just smoking the goalie, right? It's just the goalie doesn't even notice it went in, right? He's not even prepared for it because there's not a big wind up or anything like that. He just knows where to shoot the ball. And you don't always have to shoot it hard when you put it in the right spot. And so many times, I get perfect views because if they're on our side, the attack's on our side of the field, he's in that righty spot over there, on the goalie's right side. And I just see right where he's shooting, and I can get in his head and say, okay, he ripped that one stick side low because the goalie was off the pipe, and that's what the goalie was giving him, and that's what he took. And so many shots like that where he just knows where to shoot. He knows how to put it in the form. You know what I mean? He doesn't need much of a wind up. He doesn't need much. He doesn't need to crow hop 6 times to get the velocity on the ball because he can shoot. He could shoot flat footed, and it's still going to go where it needs to go before the goalie even knows where it's going.
Yeah, that's what made you guys so dangerous. Kids like him and Braxton and wait, Coach Simpson, you want to give Dola a little airtime? I think he's crying. You put him on social media so much he thinks he's famous. Where is he? You can't get him. All right, well, get
he's
him.
Famous, all right.
Yeah, he's famous. So so Coach Simpson, how about Ryan Barlow? Let's talk about Ryan for a minute. So he's different, right? He's a different type of player.
He's definitely different.
He's different.
You don't know
that kid was the stud of the Warwick Co-op hockey team, right? Moved up to Division I. He was their guy. We covered him all season. We watched him all season. He was a great hockey player. Now he's he goes on the lacrosse field and we watch him and he's a lot different playing lacrosse than he is at hockey. He's a natural goal scorer in hockey. Now in lacrosse, he scored goals. All right, he has a shot and whatever, but it wasn't that kid works for his money. I mean, I feel like a lot of times he's a heavy hitter and like he likes to come inside in traffic. I mean, talk about it a little bit because I know what my eyes saw.
I mean, we tell him not to do those things, but he still. And I don't know how the ball doesn't get checked out of his stick. Maybe it's just like those hockey skills that are carrying over to the lacrosse field. But that kid, we talked about him after the first week of games. We were just like, holy crap, where'd this kid come from? Last year, I think he ended the year last year with like 18 points, and I think he had that within the first 3 games. Like he was lightning. Yeah, his shot ability this year was tremendous. Like he was catching passes from restraining box from Braxton and just absolutely ripping. But then also would dodge into traffic or catch a crease pass in the middle. And with three guys on him, he's still getting the shot off and putting it in the net.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty impressed when I saw him. I know that type of player. He reminds me of my son, right? So he's that type of player. Like he goes in there. He's not afraid of the bodies. He doesn't listen all the time, but a lot of times it works out, I suppose. Now,
and he played.
sometimes. Go ahead. What, coach? Go ahead.
I was going to say, and he plays both ways too. I mean, he plays a lot of
Oh
defense
yeah.
too for us, and
Oh yeah.
it's tough getting him off the field sometimes. And for the championship game, we had to say, listen, Barlow, you got to get off, man, because you're gonna, it's hot, it's the turf, we're not used to playing on this surface, and the sun's out, and so we have to drag him off the field sometimes because he's a solid defender too. I mean, he
Right.
He's
doesn't get
just
very much either.
He's just a gamer. Like he just wants to be in
Yeah.
the game. He like no matter what, he'll never say he's tired. He loves to be on the wing for all the face-offs because if it comes to a situation where we need a ground ball and like a scrum, he's one of the ones that's going to come up with it.
Yep. What about did he play in man down situations? Well, you'd
No.
have one short stick, right? One short stick and add along. Oh, he'd come off. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we'd have Connor Whitmere, who we got to talk about.
Connor. Well, he's my next guy. I'm coming to you with him. So, let's talk about him then, Coach Gregson, since you jumped in. And I was kind of saving him for last. Well, there's one other guy I'd like to discuss, but let's Connor now. Connor, um, you know, the value of someone who can take faceoffs like that in this sport equals the value of your goalkeeper who, Brennan had a great season, right? He had a great season.
He did.
But let's say in a sport like soccer, you have the goalie is a separate entity. There's 10 other guys on the field and there's your goalie. Lacrosse has two of those. Well, kind of three with LSM, but really two. Goalie, Fogo. And I mean, Widmer was what was this kid's percentage? If you had to, he's in the high 90s for the whole season,
Right.
right?
He's got
The
he's
kid's
got to be
nasty.
close. I mean, there wasn't many guys that could even match up with him.
No. So
he
what?
oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. No, I want you to talk about him a little bit. Go for it.
Just the way he approaches that position. And you're right, it's a lot like a goalie. I took faceoffs in high school, and Blake will tell you I wasn't too bad in the men's league a long time ago. All right, but it's a goalie type mentality where it's just you're the guy. You're the one who is gonna set the tone for this. And he's another one that just worked his butt off over the off season. I sent him a YouTube video that had the down set and the whistles at random times, and it ran for like 10 minutes. And he must have hit it every day because he just worked. And I never met a hardworking kid because it showed. When he stepped out there this season, he was unstoppable for a lot of these guys. He might have had trouble with maybe one or two guys, but the rest were just it was automatic. So much so that they had to throw a long stick on him, and Narragansett was the first one to do that, and that didn't give him any trouble. Yeah, it might have had trouble getting in the box sometimes, but they had to just concede that he was going to win every faceoff, and they were just going to have to play defense on him from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. How do you
And
game plan for it? You
right,
just yeah.
because the last time we played them, when we played them at home, I mean, we were fast breaking every time. I think we scored with 6 seconds in the game because he just pinched and popped and got it to Braxton. Braxton fired it, and we were already up 1-0 with 6 seconds gone on the clock.
Yeah.
But
That's
just
that's it, right? I mean, you have five guys. You just said it, Coach. Connor gets a face off, gets it to Braxton, or he rips it, or then you have Brian, you have Ethan. I mean, it's crazy. It was crazy what you guys got going on this year.
Yeah,
It was
and
great.
I
It was
mean,
fun to watch.
back to Barlow. I mean, when you have two guys on the wing like Ethan and Braxton, and then you have a guy in the crease that can do what he did. I mean, teams couldn't prepare for it, and
No.
we had solid midfielders, Connor Williams and Tyler Fuller, and then we had Charlie Clemens, who again doesn't get a lot of credit, but is a great player as well. He was
Oh
a
yeah.
first year guy.
Yep.
And
Good player.
I think he was fourth or fifth in the team in scoring. And I mean, he was another guy who never played lacrosse before this year. He's a junior. He's a hockey player,
Oh, he
obviously.
really?
So he got a lot of those skills, but he just
Yeah.
came in, and as soon as we saw him, Coach Blake and I were just like, he's playing attack. I mean,
Yeah, he's pretty good.
he's just got to, even though, at the beginning of the year, he was still kind of picking up the sport, but he's just solid. And every time he was one-on-one with the goalie, he's just dunking it. So,
Sick.
that's the kind of guy you need, and he just never made any bad decisions. He just was always smart with the ball. But yeah,
Yeah, love it.
And just
So,
hockey
go
kids.
ahead.
He's a GB machine. So anytime like a garbage rebound off a save or something, he's
Sure.
running that, picking it up.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about lacrosse. People that don't understand the sport, ground balls are such a huge part of the game. Time of possession, just crazy. But I want to give Blake just a minute to talk about this last player, because I feel like this is Blake's homeboy a little bit, and he's up here on the wall.
oh, that's a good one.
That
Right?
is the homeboy.
That's your man, Blake. So go ahead, tell everyone who that is.
LSM number 21, one of the hardest hitters and stubborn players I've ever coached in my life, Brady Burke.
Right, so I figured this would be a great segue for you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Brady gave me his stick to string the start of the season, and I was just like, this thing stinks. So I gave him one of mine. I gave him mine with my deep hole, and this kid just first game with it, GBs, like he's another guy. Like he's fighting for every loose ball, 10 plus GBs a game, and just like his defense ability to just like close in on an offensive player and strip the ball away and just be an absolute menace, and just like he's that gnat. Like me and Coach Gregson have said it before. Like he's the kind of kid that you would hate to play against.
Yeah.
Like if he's on any team, it would be like, this kid is such a pain in the butt. But I mean, he earns it. Like he's not a kid that just like dogs it and is a good athlete. The kid works for it, and he never wants to leave the field. He's a lot like Ryan Barlow. But I had the opportunity to coach Brady for 4 years in 2 sports, and he's definitely going to be some big shoes to fill, and we're going to miss him a lot. But he was electric this year on the defense.
Yeah, he really was, and that's really what it is, Coach. He's going to be a tough. You gotta, who replaces a kid like that? There's other kids like that. We've all seen them, but there's always those kids that sometimes you go, I don't know how we're gonna fill that gap.
It's
You
one
can
of
put
those
an
things.
LSM in, but it's not the same.
You mentioned it. You kind of alluded to it earlier. You said, that there are 2 positions, 3, and then you added LSM.
Yeah.
Goalie, Fogo, and LSM, and it's the only sport, and I tell Blake this a lot too. It's the only position where I'm okay if the kid's cocky. I don't like cockiness. I like confidence. I don't like cockiness. But LSM, you have to be that guy. You have to be the guy who is just like, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to run over everybody, and I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to stuff it down your throat. I mean, that's the mentality, and we definitely have a few guys with the skills. We're just waiting to see who comes out with that attitude that I'm the best player on the field, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Brady was cocky really, but he was, you know what I mean? He was the
all
guy
right.
that was like he was never arrogant about it, but he had that confidence, and Blake knows what I'm talking about. I mean, he just you knew he was going to try and show everybody up. And that's how he plays, and that's how you have to play that position.
Listen, none of these kids are foreign to me. I've been watching all your kids that are seniors. literally up close and personal for all 4 years that they played, except minus the COVID year, obviously, because
Right.
my kid lost his senior season, which
Yeah,
was
we all got robbed. It was awful.
horrific. But for the other 3 years, I watched all your kids. I know them all. Because you guys were right up there, and we were playing you twice a year, and then it was just always it was 9-7. Then there's city cups and all this kind. I've seen it all. It's amazing to watch the progression and how well your boys have taken on the sport, and like your team is just, I don't know. So real quick, because we're gonna cut it now, but I have to ask. So are you staying in D3 next year? Or are you gonna jump back up to 2 or what?
I would imagine when they come out with the alignment numbers, and they'll do that in late September. I mean, they kind of have to move us up. I can't see that they wouldn't. And I think we're ready. I think
Oh, I
I
think
think
so.
we can go and make a showing there. Because yeah, I don't. It was fun. It was a great season, believe me. But sometimes you're looking at the scoreboard and you're like, oh, I don't know if we're even in the right league right now. So hopefully they move us up.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You got your trophy. You deserved it. You earned it. Everyone gets to get one, but it's time to go. You're going.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys. Hey, listen, Alex and Blake, thanks so much. I appreciate having you guys. Um,
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
for letting us cover your games. I mean, it was so much fun. And if you guys need any content, we have it also. You just talk to me after, and we'll make it happen for you. But what a great season. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ron.
You got it. You got it. All right, boys. I'll talk to you soon.
See you in the fall.
Oh, yeah, baby. All right, guys. So that was head coach Alex Gregson and assistant coach Blake Simpson here on the Rhody Sports Show. Coming up next, Portsmouth Patriots girls lacrosse right here on the Rhody Sports Show. They just won the Division II state championship for the girls, and we're going to be able to talk to the coach, and hopefully they got a few players coming, because I think she said they do. And so stay tuned. We're going to cut this one, and we're going to be right back. Real quick, thank to our sponsors, Flair Lacrosse, for women, by women, FlairLacrosse.com, Blaze Lacrosse. Go to BlazeLacrosse.com for a boys elite travel team. Odyssey Group International, go to OdysseyGI.com and check out the concussion protocol. And they are traded on the OTC at ODYY. And then Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. If you need an attorney, 696 Reservoir Ave, Cranston, Rhode Island. Check out my good friend Joe Lammy. And then RI Bulldogs, putting kids in the NCAAs every year that go through the Rhode Island Bulldogs lacrosse program. Go to RIBulldogs.com, and we will see you all soon. And thank you very much on the Rhody Sports Show.